Hello, and welcome back to another session of Whispers in the Woods. We had to skip a week before, so it feels like it's been forever, but finally, we're back. I was having technical difficulties, which is why this stream started late. The crystal ball I used to broadcast to everybody had a crack in it. Working on getting that fixed. I don't think I have any bookkeeping things other than Zeke, thanks for the resub. It really does not feel like 7 months, but I keep seeing people resub and it's like 7 months. I was like, wow, jeez.
No, it's only been a week.
It really does feel like 2-3 months maybe.
Yeah,
All right.
like I was looking at the old streams, and when I saw that our last one was session 17, I was like, what? No. It was like
Yeah.
11 last time I checked, I swear.
I know. Does
Quarantine
really.
has like destroyed all sense of time for me, honestly.
Yeah, I think it might be true for me too.
Time is arbitrary.
Yeah, time works differently in the path below. Secretly, the entire world is in the path below. It's actually a ladder that you're ascending. You just don't realize it. You're not going down at all. All right. So, previously on Whispers in the Woods, the party was hunting down a band of assassins who were who placed a mark on them to kill them because of the strange sigils that appeared on the back of their hands. After chasing the assassins through swamp and forest, they eventually arrived at the wood elf city of Lysindrel, which is where they currently still are. But after heading out of the city a little bit and hunting through the woods, they found evidence of the safe house that the assassins were hiding in, nearby in the forest. But when they got there, they found that one of the assassins who had been there had been violently attacked and kidnapped by some sort of creature. So they ended up having to go and save that assassin from a cave full of insects and a very large spider. And so they rescued Yasu Mogami, the pyromancer assassin, and brought her back to Sindriel, where they held her captive for a little bit so they could ask her some questions. Yasu herself seemed actually genuinely pretty friendly. She had no interest in pursuing the contract that she was working after all the ordeals she'd been put through. So the party managed to actually get a decent amount of information out of her. The one thing they couldn't figure out was how the client, the person who'd hired the assassins, was getting around. She seemed to melt into thin air. So after consulting with a few people in town, they talked with the druid Ilsevel, and Ilsevel suggested that they talk to the spirit of the forest. Spirit of the forest, Ilsevel had seen do something similar, sort of melt away into thin air like that. So they managed to go out into the woods with Ilsevel accompanying them and managed to figure out a ritual that summoned the spirit of the Driella Woods. And they spoke with him for a little bit. He seemed to have sort of gaps in his memory, as if he wasn't really experiencing the world in the same way they were. But he told them that this client clearly was demonstrating something quite powerful, and that she wasn't just turning invisible or teleporting. She was plane walking. She was crossing over into the Feywild. Now, he advised them that should they need assistance with this and should they want to find out more, they should head north into the Whisperweald, which is a mysterious and complicated forest to the north that holds a lot of fey creatures, and that they should seek a place called Upperloft, and that they would find aid there. And so, after speaking a little bit more with the Spirit of the Forest, you can go back and watch that on the archive if you want to see that full conversation, as there was a ton of lore drop there that I won't get into. They headed back to Lysindriel for some time to sort of gather up their things before they headed off. And I think where we left off, you were still in Lysindriel, and you'd gathered around the entrance plaza near the fountain, and were determining whether or not you wanted to leave right now or do a few more things in town, look around more, or buy more things, or talk to more people. I think I said specifically that I would let you guys think about it in between sessions, in case you decided to do something else when we came back. So now that we're back, we return to the Fountain Square in Lysindriel.
Well,
Alright.
does anyone need to do anything?
No, I
Well,
don't need to do anything.
I can't think of anything.
I'm legitimately broke after spending money on that shield.
I've got plenty of money.
Is it a shield or bracers?
It's a shield, look at it. It's shiny.
Oh, yeah.
Angles.
It's fancy, though. It was worth every coin.
Here, let me see.
Yes, I don't actually know what it does. Wits, would you manage to look at this and tell me?
Is he asking to look at it for 10 minutes with the identify, or?
My feet.
Yes.
I'm gonna take my shoes off again.
Oh, well, alright then. He will ritual cast identify on his. Isn't it called a buckler? Isn't that what it specifically is?
I'm calling it the beetle buckler. I don't know what its name actually is.
Beetle buck.
That's exactly what it should be. I refuse to accept any other name.
All right, then take a little break by the fountain, Martos, dipping your feet in the fountain, as Witz gets to work examining the golden buckler that you had the blacksmith craft from that golden shelled beetle. And after your little pause passes, there's no reason for us to kill 10 minutes. You begin to understand a little bit more about the properties of the shell itself, as the shield sort of aspects of it are relatively mundane. Just has a strap, so it's able to be strapped onto the arm. But what really makes it special is the properties of this shell that it's made from. So this is the golden shell buckler, but you can call it the beetle buckler if you want to.
I am.
No, I will.
And essentially, the properties of the shell are as follows. It is quite hard and acts as a normal shield. But in addition to that, it has properties that allow it to deflect magic, specifically, as you saw demonstrated with some of Witz's magic when you attempted to slay the creature.
That was rude of him.
So when a enemy makes a spell attack against you, Draven, while you have it attuned and equipped, should they roll a 5 or less natty, then you can burn a charge on the shield to reflect that spell back at the caster.
Very poggers.
3 charges
Especially-
for charges with a long rest.
Especially at the amount of times Raven's almost died just soaking up damage.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic.
So since I make all my rolls in person, I'll just tell you when they roll 5 or less.
Sure.
And then you can
How many
decide if you want to
charges?
burn it. 3 charges. I'm going to give you the item in your inventory right now.
I wish you could see when I spin a token but don't let go of it, because sometimes like when I get when I'm waiting, I'll just grab Wits and make him a Beyblade.
Yeah, I wish you could see that too. Alright, it's in your inventory. Alright. So, Wits, you finish up examining this shield and the shell's magical properties. And then you explain them a little bit about how it sort of works and how it's able to reflect magic as long as the spell itself isn't in its peak form.
That's BS.
And-
Wits rolled a really good roll on that ray of frost, and it still reflected it.
Wow, the beetle itself had a little bit more expertise with it than the beetle.
D&D Beyond might be being slow or something. I don't see it.
Could be.
Yeah, it usually takes a bit.
I'll equip it and tune it for you if you want. See if that helps.
Sure.
But you finish up explaining to Draven how it works, and you're now free to do what you wish.
Alright then, are we ready to head off if there's nothing else we need to do?
Sure. I can't think of anything. Martos, can you think of anything?
I got wet toes.
That's really cool. Okay, let's go.
So cool!
Sybil, your mistake was asking Martos if she could think.
It's only wet toes on my mind.
Do you even wear shoes, Martos?
Yeah, I got little like boots on. Now they're wet. Doesn't feel good on the inside.
I could have told you that before you did it, but that's fine.
Well, you didn't stop me.
You know what?
Martos, walking
I did
around
not.
with wet boots is going to make your feet smell.
I thought they already do smell.
You act like they didn't smell before. That's why I was soaking them.
I hope that wasn't drinking water.
Not anymore.
Yeah, and Draven, what are you doing smelling Martos' feet anyway? That's kind of weird.
I'm not anywhere near them when I can smell them.
I
It's-
could have sworn I saw you in my bedroom last night sniffing my toes. Now I know it's facts.
One of your pleasant dreams, I assume.
It was a nightmare.
Alright, so which way are we going? I don't remember what that lady said.
I don't remember what we were doing.
North into the Whisperweald? It's been 2 weeks. It hasn't been 2 weeks in character, but yeah.
Yeah, north.
Okay.
Alright then, north it is.
Alright. Northwest or northeast?
Which way?
Sure, okay.
I don't know which way. I was just guessing.
Regardless
your
of
guess.
the direction you're heading, if you need to head north, then you need to wind your way around the rock formations that sort of surround the city of Lysindriel.
It'd be really funny if Maris was like, I think south? Let's go south.
South is the way.
This is the way.
Alright.
Back to the swamp.
No, no, please.
Oh no.
Death zone.
Anything but the swamp. Unless we're going to fight King Taka again. In that case, maybe.
That's on my bucket list.
It's like the only thing on my bucket list. Actually, which is like two things. Kill King Taka and then steal everyone's money.
Good to know.
Except Draven, because he doesn't have any money.
All right. So the four of you make your way, heading sort of northwest, winding your way around the rocks that surround Sindriel, and making your way sort of deeper into the mist woods that surround the city. By now, you're relatively used to navigating the mistwoods, and so you aren't incredibly thrown off by the fog that sort of hangs in the air as you weave your way around the forest.
We all look like we're trying to go a different route to get to where we're going.
Yeah,
All
we're
know where we're
confused.
going. We're just
We're going somewhere.
It's a
Where you
DM. It's a DM leaves the party to their own devices, and they get hopelessly lost episode.
God damn it.
Let's just go back to the Syndra. That's at least we know we're safe there.
So you are sort of having to work your way slightly westward as you make your way north to avoid the sort of rock formations surrounding the city. But eventually, as you travel through the mistwoods, you travel for about an hour, winding your way around the other side of the city, and then are able to just sort of head due north now. And traveling along, eventually, as you make your way through the mistwoods, the fog starts to part, and you eventually find yourselves just traveling through dense forest. Does anybody remember what time of day it was? I was trying to think of that. I feel
I
like
think it
we
was more
summoned
relatively
him at
early.
noon,
yeah.
and then we went back to town for a bit, so it's probably like later noon.
Yeah, we'll say 2 o'clock.
The hell is later noon?
It's like
I
noon,
don't
but
know.
later.
Word?
We'll say by the time you guys finished up your business in town, it's about 2 o'clock or so.
It's noon too.
For people who are like watching this like a year from now on the VODs, and they just watched the episode where I said it was like 4 o'clock or something like that. It must be a weird experience where I keep forgetting things. It's been 2 weeks for us, okay, guys? VOD watchers, please give me some slack.
We're actually time travelers. We'll just go back in time whenever something happens that we don't want to happen.
But with the mist parting, you continue to make your way through the Driella Woods. Birds chirping off in the distance and sound of rustling branches from the wind. Trees here are a bit dense, so it is kind of slightly darker than you would be if you're out in the grasslands. But you can see the sun kind of peering through some of the gaps in the foliage as you make your way through the woods. Alright, I have some rolls to do. So bear with me for a moment.
That's not ominous.
Roll to die. This is the D4 to see which one of us he wants to kill.
Yep. Pick a number, Wits. On a D4, pick a number, go.
2.
Oh,
3.
I rolled a 2.
Oh, fuck.
No, I'm just kidding.
I just see an X up here on Wits.
Yeah, just Wits turns to dust.
You got snapped.
He ceases.
Alright, rolls are done. Somebody write something down. Perfect.
Grand Lorraine Thanos snap.
Alright, so you travel your way through the Driella Forest for another hour or so. It's mostly peaceful. And as you're making your way along, heading sort of into the afternoon, making decent time, weaving your way around the trees is sometimes slow work, but the nice weather and lack of anything attempting to kill you makes the travels move a little bit quicker. And so you continue to make your way north.
Have we noticed any more of that mold like on our way through?
Yeah, I would say you'd see it occasionally on a tree, just sort of growing along the bark like a typical moss would. But the trees in which it grows seems to have sort of lost a lot of their leaves. They seem to be sort of dying.
Not again.
Oh god.
Please, Jay.
As,
Please.
as you make your way through the woods,
Oh no.
this is what the dice have rolled you. It's not my choice.
No.
But also I made the map and also I wrote the thing, so you know.
Yeah, it's only a little bit your choice.
So as you are traveling through the Drella Woods, making good time, you find sort of a little bit of a rockier clearing. And Martos making her way in the lead. You see off to your left what appears to be just sort of a little sort of rock formation with a big hole in the side of it. It's sort of a mound with a tunnel that leads down in the side of the rock there. The actual gap in the rock face, the sort of cave, if you will, the mouth of this cave is rather narrow. It's only about collarbone height on you, so you'd have to duck down to kind of enter it. You can see sort of a lot of moss growing along the rocks, which sort of obscured it a little bit from view, but once you get closer, you can make out this gap in the stone.
Who's up for a bit of cave diving?
Ugh, not again.
I love me some caves. Especially
You
with
also
that
love
water.
yourself some 80-foot drop holes.
As long as there's water in there. Bloop!
Nope.
All right, Martos, you charge on ahead, having to sort of hunch over slightly and bend at the knees to make your way through this tunnel. Initially, it's dark, but as your eyes quickly adjust to the darkness and you're able to see further on, you actually see a glowing light on the far end of this tunnel. Draven, are you following her?
Cautiously, yes.
All right, what about the other two?
Which is following disappointingly.
Okay.
Just like your head down, dragging his feet.
Just, not again. Should have stayed in Sonderheim. No caves there.
Depends what district you're from.
I mean, yeah, fair, but I figured that would be your answer.
Yeah, if you're a fish runner boy, then you live in a cave.
Yeah, well, Wits didn't even know what a jellyfish was, so I'd
Fair
say
enough.
that's a no from him.
All right, so Martos, you make your way ducking down to head into this narrow tunnel with Draven cautiously following and Wits behind, and I suppose Sybil
Reluctantly.
reluctantly following as well. So Martos, as you make your way into the tunnel, this is what you begin to see. You see
Oh.
this glowing
Oh.
pink
Oh.
light from the center. At first you thought it might have been like a bonfire or something like that, but there's no smoke traveling along the ceiling of this tunnel. And the light actually doesn't flicker and move like a flame would. And as you get a little bit closer, you can see that it's actually coming from a very large flower. And you recognize the flower. You've seen it before in the Forgotten Caverns where you explored with all the insects.
Mhm, mhm.
But this one's a lot larger than the other one that you saw. And through the light, you can see this silhouette on the far side of the flower. It's hunched over and covered in foliage and moss. But as you sort of make your way into the tunnel, it carefully stands up, holds a large wooden staff that it sort of leans on to carry some of its weight as it kind of stands and slowly walks its way around the side of this massive flower, using the
Hello,
cane to brace itself. And as you call out to the creature, it just sort of looks you up and down. As you get a better look at it, it almost has a hood of moss and growth. And you can see these sort of red eyes peering out from the darkness, and a long beard also made from moss. As the creature sort of examines you, hobbling its way towards you. And as you call out to it, it actually speaks back to you, its voice sort of echoing and odd. Ah, visitors. I've not had visitors in quite some time.
It might be because you live in a cave.
Indeed, that may be the reason. Please, come in. Make
That's
yourselves
like
welcome. What'd
Don't
you say?
lie, tell me.
Sorry, what'd you say?
I
Oh,
like
okay.
your moss, sir. Very lovely.
Thank you kindly.
No, you're welcome. This is a very big flower. Very lovely as well.
So the creature hobbles its way back around this sort of assortment of logs that are piled up near this massive flower. Sits itself back down with a large creak of groaning wood. And once you all sort of make your way inside and sit down by the large flower, the creature just sort of glances around at each of you, sort of examining and taking stock of who's sitting in his cave. And he says, for what purpose do you travel these woods?
That's a great question. I forgot. I just go with the flow of things, and I saw the cave, and I was like, "That looks nice. Let me go look in there." Guys, why were we traveling these woods?
We're trying to get to the Whisper Weald and find a ferry to get into the fairy dimension. I don't know. I'm
Faye, I
sorry,
think you
guys.
mean?
Yeah, Faye.
One, big plans. Too big that we don't even know.
Ah, the Whisper Weald. Indeed, it does lie to the north of here. A complicated, fickle place.
Yeah, we're gonna have a great time in there. I feel it.
Pardon me, creature. Quick question. What do you eat?
I maintain sustenance on plants and foraged things from this forest.
Good, so not people. Alright, I feel more comfortable now.
What's your name, sir?
Mr. Moss Man.
Mr. Mossman.
A name. I've not had anyone ask me a name in quite some time. You may call me the Collector. most do.
Oh, what do you collect?
Oh god.
Don't say people.
We should see.
I mean, if you think about it, Martos is the collector of bones.
That,
Yeah,
Not-
you have something in common.
Not quite. I collect all forms of oddities.
Hmm.
Him and Martos do have a lot in common, then.
I collect. Shows my bones. Bones. We're friends now.
Now, there is something I'm curious about. Most folk give the woods to the north a wide berth. They make their way around it. For what purpose do you seek to head straight through it?
The stupidity, perhaps.
Yeah, we don't have a great self-preservation instincts. We're looking for somebody to give us access into the damn it, what's the name for like the Fey realm in this?
You were told it, and it was like today, so I can remind you if you want.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that.
The Feywild.
The Feywild. Yeah, we're looking for passage to the Feywild.
I see, then. You seek dangers even far greater than the Whisperwield itself.
Yup. Bad
That sounds like
self-preservation.
us.
I see. Well, it's not an easy journey, but I wish you luck on it.
Thank you. Any advice you can give us before we take off?
I can indeed offer words of wisdom. I sometimes find I am able to see things others are not. I can offer you aid, but I would require something in return.
What sort of things do you collect, collector? You said you collect all sorts, but like what specific sorts are valuable to you?
Well, Sybil, you can take a look around the cave as you're sort of sitting here. It is lit up by this flower, and sort of bathed in this glow. You actually don't see anything at all in his cave. There's just a small, kind of humble carved table out of old-looking wood, an old-looking, slightly damp-looking bed, and then just a bunch of foliage sitting around that just seems to be growing naturally within the cave. Other than that, you can't actually see any form of collection at all.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Maybe he's just starting.
What
As-
do you collect?
As I said, all sorts of things, rarities, oddities, anything that catches my interest, really.
Okay. Sorts of weird stuff have we picked up. It's not like stuff we
Martos?
want. Yeah, we can give her. Oh no. I have this weird plant that I encountered some little mushroom folks in a stump who gave me a seed and I planted it. Not sure if that would be of use or value to you, but
Let me see it. Bring it over
yeah,
here.
okay. Okay, Sybil takes it out of her backpack and brings it over. At the moment, it is literally just a dirt pot. Nothing is growing, obviously. The seed has just been planted in there.
You said you were gifted a seed.
Yeah. By... I believe they were like little mushroom dudes, weren't they?
They're sort of made of wood.
Little wood people.
It has been like months since that happened, so fair enough.
Yeah.
The collector takes a look at it, just sort of turning his head back and forth. You see the beard kind of flow as he moves his head. And then he just sort of looks up towards you and says, "You've encountered Barklings, then?"
I wouldn't know for sure, but that definitely sounds accurate to what they were.
Gifted a seed by forest spirits. It does indeed sound like Barklings.
So, do you know what the seed may be? Oh, sorry.
The seed may be many things. It is not one single thing, and I am afraid I cannot take this for my collection. If you've been gifted this by Barklings, then it is not my place to take it from you.
Alright, I'd be happy to hold on to it, so I have no conflict there.
Now then, if you are interested in words of wisdom, we could make an arrangement, I suppose. But it is not often I run into folk traveling through these woods, so I am sorry, but I have to take the opportunity to get something in return.
What do you mean by that?
Want an apple? I have some extra apples.
I've found apples growing in this forest
Oh.
quite a few times. I don't think I'm in short supply of those. I can offer aid. I'm sure you will find it useful in your journey, but in return, I require a face.
Oh, fuck. Oh, no. Sorry.
My face is far too valuable for your aid. Sorry.
Could we, like, draw you a face? One of us has to be good at drawing
Got
something.
a piece of paper and just draws like a stick figure.
I
Do a
am
little drawing.
afraid a falsehood won't do, but as for the Pale One's comment, I will not take your face from you. I will simply form a copy of sorts. No harm shall come to you, I promise that.
Oh god.
What do you use them for?
My purposes are not yours to know, but if you wish to know my words of wisdom, then that is my offer.
Okay. Alright.
He likes to play dress up when no one's around.
Yeah. Does it have to be a human or the face of our original form?
What?
I am afraid I don't understand what you mean. Elaborate, please.
Yeah, I feel strange giving a copy of my face to someone who I don't know what they're going to do with it. I'm sorry. Could you use a version of our faces in a different form, I guess?
I'm afraid that's not quite how it works. It takes a copy of your face as it is.
Okay.
Can I make like any face? Can I make like a weird face and it'll make that face?
The expression is not of consequence.
Oh.
Cool.
Mm. Always one second on the face.
Oh, does the face have to be alive and you see it, or can you just see a picture of another face and get what you need?
The creature must be living, and flesh and blood in front of me.
Fucking take my face. Let's
I
do this.
only require one of you, and I shall provide wisdom for you all.
Let's do this.
Very well.
How are we doing this? Hold on, I probably should have asked that.
Please approach, child.
The flower or you? Yeah, I'll do either one. Let's do this. Excuse me, you said all this. Hello, friend.
The collector slowly kind of rises to his feet, bracing himself on that staff.
Collect my face, sir.
And as you sort of stand in front of him, he just sort of says, "All right, now, stay still."
Crouch down a little bit, make it easy.
And as you sort of crouch down to kind of match his height a little bit better and hold yourself still, you see him reach up with one of his sort of wooden hands covered in moss, and his fingers are sort of made from twigs and sticks, and he holds the hand up kind of right in front of your face. And then, as if he was just pulling a mask that you wore, he just grabs something intangible in front of you and just pulls it clean off. And you don't feel any pain, you don't experience anything but a mild tingling in your face.
This kind of feels nice.
And then you see him holding in his twig hand what appears to be a mask of your face.
Okay. I'm gonna touch my face real fast. I'm like, eh.
Very good, very good. This shall do.
Can I get one too?
I'm afraid that is not how this works.
Damn.
Now then, the words of wisdom you were promised. There are 4 of you, so I will offer 4 phrases of wisdom.
Okay.
You see the collector just sort of hold one of his hands to one of his temples, and the eyes beneath the mossy hood blink out, and only darkness remains in the gap where his face should be. And he just sort of sits there in silence for a moment. And then suddenly the glowing red eyes blink back open again in the darkness beneath the hood. And he begins to speak once more. The first phrase of wisdom. The red boar always lies. And then he pauses for another moment, thinking and just sort of gently stroking the mossy beard. And then begins to speak again. The second phrase. The mirrors reveal truth, but also pain. And then continues the process, pausing for a moment once more before speaking again. The third phrase, yes, it comes to me now. When songs sound far too sweet, one must cover one's ears. Pauses once more for the final phrase. The last one seeps in at the edges of my mind. The thunderous claw is no foe of yours. And then he sort of snaps out of the trance that he was in, and then looks around again at each of you. You may find them cryptic and confusing at the moment, but I'm sure you will understand them in time. Yeah, you can write them down. I'll send them to you too. Alright, it's in Whispers in the Woods chat.
See, I didn't know if you said boar or door, and either way, I was like, fuck all red boars and doors.
Anything that's red must die.
Anything that's red can die.
Yeah, just both.
Wait, wasn't Jellycap red?
I couldn't bring myself to kill him.
I think his eyes went red when he went aggro mode.
Yeah.
Like the Omae Mamu no Shinduru.
Now then, finding words of wisdom exhausts me. I shall need some rest. I wish you luck on your journey.
Good luck with the face collection.
Thank you for stealing my face.
Have fun with that.
I put my hands in the flowers. Runs.
Have a good one.
That was really fucking ominous, guys.
That was really bad. I really hope there are consequences to giving him your face.
He stole my face. Something bad's gonna come out of this.
It's freaking
Consequences for our actions? No.
I'm gonna act like I
Since
don't
when does
know
that
about
happen?
it. Stole my fucking face. I kind of want my own face mask, but that's okay, I guess.
You wear your own face.
I wanted to wear my own fucking face, but that's fine.
So
Well,
make
at
your-
least we got some cryptic advice. Oh, sorry.
You make your way out of the small little cave that the collector had there, the face collector, and back out into the forest clearing, ready to return to your journey.
Alrighty then, I guess we should just move along then.
Yep, I'm gonna forget that my face was ever taken.
Yep, me too.
What if that was my soul? What if you took my fucking soul, guys?
Did you even have one anyway?
I think there was some remnants of one there, but there's nothing now. My face feels amazing, though.
Yeah, it must have been very exfoliating. Sorry, I got caught up doing something over there.
The collector actually runs a spa.
My face muscles feel very relaxed right now. A little tingly, a little like, ooh, you know?
Yeah, he just needed to get a new face mask for the spa.
Alrighty. So you continue along your path, weaving in between the trees, continuing due north on your journey to leave the Driella Woods. And the journey consumes most of the rest of this day, taking up several hours until dusk begins to appear. But right at the onset of dusk, as you begin to debate whether or not to turn in for the day, you see, as you walk along between the trees, the forest itself sort of start to change. The change is rather gradual at first. You just start to see different looking trees, I suppose. And as the foliage begins to change, you see more oranges in the leaves rather than deep emerald greens. And as you travel further, the changes become less gradual and more sudden as the foliage begins to take a rather drastic turn.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
mushroom woods.
This shit beautiful. Mm-mm-mm.
We're gonna smoke some shrooms.
Fucking trip.
And as you begin to weave your way in between the woods, you see that we're not in Driella anymore. As mushrooms the size of trees begin to sprout out, taking the place of the tall, deciduous trees that the Driella forest held. And what trees do remain are odd colors. They're no longer green, but oranges and even pale pinks.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
So you travel your way a little bit further to sort of investigate this new terrain, though it is approaching dusk. So Martos, the mushroom that you examine here is about the height of you. The larger ones tower over you.
Oh, get me underneath here.
And
He literally just became gnome.
you have never seen mushrooms quite this large before. They're spongy and soft to the touch.
Hug this shit real fast.
In and around them, several smaller spotted mushrooms grow as well. Some mushrooms even growing along the sides of the stalks of others.
I don't know, those red mushrooms look kind of suspicious, Martos.
They're suspicious, but damn, are they nice and soft and squishy?
Don't touch those with your feet, Martos, just in case.
Mm.
Alrighty then. Well, I guess this is as any good of a place as any to set up a camp.
Oh yes, this is lovely. Good night.
You can just sleep on the mushroom, I guess.
I sleep under mushroom.
Sleep on the mushroom.
That's a fun time. Okay.
You just pop my head out and be like, "What y'all doing?" Nothing.
It gets up and it's actually Jellycap too.
Oh my god.
Man,
It's his older brother.
I'm going to have mushroom nightmares to the rest of my life after this whole experience.
It's fine. It's fine.
As you sort of walk your way around Draven, some of the terrain, as you can kind of see, that looks a little bit different, is soft and spongy as you step across it. Not only do the mushrooms grow tall like trees, but even the forest floor itself appears to be made of some sort of mushroom in places.
It's kind of gross, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
One big trampoline.
I think I'm gonna set the other 10 up right here.
All right. I heard the word tense.
Yeah, I'm setting one up over here.
Someone say tents. Short tent.
Alrighty. And then, as the forest begins to darken around you at dusk, you take the time to set up your tents.
Alrighty then, well, I assume Martos is taking the first watch.
Honor mushroom. Yep.
How strong are these mushrooms? I'm just gonna. I just sit. Pull
Um,
try. Oh,
As you sort of hop over to this one, it kind of bends and sags under your weight. The stalk of it is not nearly as rock solid as the trunk of a tree would be. And so you feel it sort of wobble around a little bit under your weight, swinging back and forth before it eventually kind of comes to a rest.
Well, come get me if you break your ankle, and I guess I'll take up watch after you.
God, this shit's great.
Alright then, I guess I'll take one after Bill.
Then I'll take last.
Alrighty.
Slumber. Oh wait, no, we gotta do what we did last time, Draven, where we just...
I got it.
All right. So as night falls on this new type of forest, you finish setting up your tents, and Martos agreeing to take the first watch. The others turn in, so you can, of course, long rest if you need it.
I'll take this time to officially attune to the buckler.
Yeah, of course. It's in your inventory. Yeah, you found it, or
Yeah, I got it now. Thank you.
perfect. All right. So as night begins to fall and the forest around you turns black, Martos, on your watch, you just sort of notice that the sounds of this forest are a little bit different. You haven't sort of fully immersed yourselves into the Whisper World yet. You are just at the border. But in addition to some of the crickets and crows and owls that you could hear in the Drella Forest, you just hear all manner of odd noises, sounds you don't really recognize, off in the distance, mostly coming from the north.
Fucking lovely.
She like rotating on the mushroom or just looking around?
I'm swiveling. It's a bouncy mushroom.
It's a trampoline.
Switcher.
Natural trampoline.
You keep your head on a swivel for your watch, standing vigilant for a few hours, but you don't see any creatures or anyone at all approach the makeshift camp you set up. You mostly just hear creature noises off in the distance and just sort of make small attempts to see if you can guess what they might be. And your watch passes smoothly without issue.
Yep. I'm going out. I'm going out.
There are weird fucking noises, but it's not the end.
Mm.
Hey, good
Oh.
night.
thanks. Are you sleeping in the tent or?
This mushroom has become my home. Good night. Pillow.
I guess I'll be here if you fall out of it. I'm going to stand next to this one instead of sitting on it.
I was like, that shit's probably broken by now.
The mushroom that Martos is on has sort of a rounded cap. So
Stretch my back out.
yeah, it's just sort of like splayed out on top of it. Your spine in a bit of an arc.
It's really uncomfortable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's what I was picturing.
Damn. Now Martos has to roll to see if she gets scoliosis.
I'm gonna scooch over here where Martos can't fall on me.
Good idea.
So Sybil, you stay up for your watch as well, but it is also uneventful.
Alright. What's supposed next, I think? I'm gonna go bother him then. Hey, Wits.
Oh.
Get up.
Huh?
It's time for your watch. Also, Martos is on the mushroom now, so that was a voice crack. Be careful of that. I'm gonna go to bed now. I'm exhausted.
Alrighty then. Wits, after seeing Martos sit on the mushroom, he feels confident that it can support him as well, so he's gonna.
It's a little
Gonna lay on it
difficult to sort of climb your way up, but you have about 4 hours to attempt it, so I would say you eventually do it. Climbing the mushrooms is hard, but you can sort of pull yourself up onto the smaller ones and then use them to boost yourself up onto the bigger ones. Again, this one also wobbles itself around under your weight for a little bit, but you manage to keep your balance, and eventually it slows to a stop, and you can perch sort of within the bowl that this mushroom's cap forms.
He's gonna lay in the middle of it and re-prepare some spells.
Spit like a beanbag, Jay.
Yes, natural beanbag.
Alright, so you spend some time flipping through your spell book as you listen to the strange noises of this wood, and your watch passes uneventfully as well.
He's gonna hook his way down.
Hop your way off the mushroom and make your way back over to the tent.
Dives head first off the top of the mushroom.
Martos snoring away, still splayed out on top of that mushroom.
I took a second to consider throwing something at Martos, but
Should we make Martos do it like a dex save or something to see if she rolls her way off that mushroom while she sleeps?
oh well, I guess it doesn't matter.
Alright, Martos, you managed to stay on top of that mushroom for the whole night.
Oi, Draven.
Yes.
Oi, it's your turn.
Did you see or hear anything interesting?
Well, only Martos. Other than that, not really out of the ordinary. Or well, I guess from what we're used to, out of the ordinary, but nothing dangerous.
No, right.
So anything in particular you want to do during your watch, Draven? Or just...
Really tempting to just nudge the mushroom repeatedly until Martos slides off, but I'm just gonna keep watch. I'll hop up on this mushroom.
Very well. The shorter mushrooms are easy to climb, and you manage to sort of perch yourself in a bit of a little seat here. Sit yourself down in the bowl that this mushroom forms, and take your watch. And your watch passes uneventfully as well.
Alright. Well then, I guess as morning comes around, I'll just kind of wake everyone up. Psst. Martos. Shakes mushroom slightly. Rise and shine.
It's on my mouth open. Now my throat's super dry. Boing, boing, boing.
Your wits, it's morning.
No, that's just fucking back hurt.
All right.
Sit up.
Don't do that.
Good morning.
Martos is literally teeter-tottering from like a bubbly, friendly character to a literal Halloween monster.
Hello, friends.
It's great though. Oh wow. Okay.
I got
you-
scoliosis.
Does Martos know what scoliosis is?
Well, we were semi-educated. We just called it my back hurt.
Sounds like a curse.
The medical term, back hurt.
As you take your time packing up the tents in the morning after you rise with sun shining through the gaps in the mushrooms and trees.
All was quiet during my watch. Did anyone have anything interesting happen?
Weird sounds, but I think it's just normal sounds for these parts.
Yep, I also heard the weird sounds.
Likewise.
Very soothing.
Alright.
So just head on then.
So packing up your things, you begin to make your way, now leaving the border of the Driella Forest and the Whisperweald and heading deep into the Whisperweald proper. So let's just take a quick little 2-minute break because this is kind of a perfect time for it.
Should I go get more cosmic brownies?
Yeah, get a
Nice.
snack, get some water, anything you need to drink, go to the bathroom, and we will be right back in 2 minutes.
Alright.
Alright, BRB, chat. Alrighty, I'm back.
I'm here.
I have Cheez-Its
Hey.
now.
Hello.
Nice.
Anyone want to Cheez-It?
And I wish I could have a Cheez-It right now.
Here, I'll throw one.
Same.
I threw one. You better catch it.
Thanks, I'll try.
We need you to roll a check, see if you catch it.
Mm,
Sorry, the DC was 20.
nice. Okay.
I am throwing it from the opposite side of the country after all. So it's coming in at a high velocity. Okay, fine. You catch it.
Alright. Everybody ready to go then?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So, you make your way into the Whisper Weald. And as you travel further and further away from the border between these two forests, the green trees all but disappear, replaced by oddly colored pink and orange ones, as well as mostly massive mushrooms. Almost all the forest floor below you becoming spongier and softer. And as you make your way along on your travels, you begin to sort of hear these odd noises from sort of far off to your left, to your right, further down the path. And they just sort of long, droning noises, like whale calls, off in the distance. And as you travel along, the noises get louder. And in the early light of morning, you make your way through the forest for an hour or so before you stumble across what appears to be the source of this odd-looking noise. Odd-sounding noise, sorry.
Oh. Oh. Oh boy.
Nail.
Oh god.
Wow.
Up ahead of you, you can see sort of a clearing. And then you spot something moving through the clearing. First, you think that they're just sort of large rocks, but then you see that they spiral around into snail shells, and then you see the massive snail that pulls them along. And they leave behind large trails of slime as they just sort of gently make their way through the forest, stopping from time to time at a mushroom to graze.
I don't see why people avoid this place. This is so relaxed. Look at these guys. They're amazing.
Rarely have I seen a creature I wouldn't want to eat, and this is definitely one of them.
I want to ride one.
The creatures just sort of very slowly pull themselves along, not really paying you any mind as you wander amongst them.
What's just gonna try to feed this one an apple?
Alright. The large creature just very, very slowly turns its head and lowers it slightly. The creatures themselves are quite large. And bending its head down to be at your height. You see it just sort of examine the apple, letting out a long droning tone as it does. And as it sort of examines the apple, it kind of lifts it, covering it in slime with your hand as well. It takes the apple from your hand, leaving behind a coating of slime, and then raises its head up again to begin to consume it.
Which is gonna rub his hand on the ground and try to get the slime off.
Draven's gonna cast Speak with Animals and attempt to communicate with this dude.
Very well.
Greetings there, friend.
You see the creature just sort of very slowly turn its head towards you.
Yes, hello. We are travelers passing through. We mean no harm. Simply wondering if we're going the right direction. We are on our way to... Checks notes. Whisperwild, particularly Upper Loft. Do you understand any of that?
The creature just sort of stares at you as best it can with its eye stalks, and then very, very slowly it just sort of speaks in one big long droning tone. You seek upper love.
Yes.
Then you must find Faye.
That is the goal, after all. Any recommendations on any Fae that might be willing to work with some outsiders?
The grove you wander is known as the Fungal Grove to our kind. But these woods quickly give way into new terrain. The Whisper Wield is complex and confusing to most. If you seek Fae, then make your way to the Spritling's copse to the north. There you may find fairies or sprites who may help you.
Well, that is valuable information. I thank you for it. One more thing. I
Yeah.
believe my friend, and he gestures to Martos, wanted to ride on your back. Would that be allowed?
You may do so, but we are not headed in the path you seek.
I don't think that matters to her.
That's not. Yeah.
Listen, Martos, I spoke to this snail thing. He gave me some good information.
Uh-huh.
We need to head to the north, to the Spritling's Copse. There are fairies and sprites there that might be willing to help us. And also you can ride on his back. But not the way there, just around in a circle a bit.
The giant snail slowly lowers its head down to give you sort of a path up to its shell.
Thank you, giant snail.
Yes, thanks Draven as well.
Fuck off, Draven.
Alright.
Oh, strong words.
See the next time I talk to a snail to get you a ride.
So
I'll
you
protect you with my life.
you perch yourself up on top of this sort of marbled patterned shell, and the snail just sort of slowly begins to make its way around the clearing, occasionally stopping to chew at one of the massive mushrooms.
This is a wonderful day, guys. Guys, do you see this?
It's pretty great.
Look at this majestic ass beast.
She lost her face. I thought it was the best we could do, consolation and everything.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, it's a merry-go-round.
Does the snail have a name? Draven, did you ask the snail's name?
No, I thought it was fuck off Draven.
Draven, I love you, please.
The large snail, do you have a name?
Our kind have no need for such formality.
He just said call him what you want.
I love you, Gary.
I was really hoping Draven would have made up a name right there and told that to Martos.
Actually, you know what? You look kind of more like a kiwi bottom.
I'm not a trickster like Wits.
Hello, kiwi bottom.
You know what, that's fair. Which would have totally made up a name.
So you spend a moment with the giant snail,
3 hours.
carrying Martos around. As the creature grazes around the clearing.
I think I fell in love, guys.
Again.
Another one?
Again.
Another one.
Another one bites the dust.
Hey! Y'all
And
gotta
after-
tell when to get off.
After some time, the creature eventually lowers its head to give you sort of a slide down.
Thank you.
Oh,
majestic
she's
beast.
shrunk.
I'm little now.
It's small, Martos.
I will never know love again like that.
Oh, farewell, Gary and Gary's friends. Thank you for the information.
This one's Gary. This one's P Winkle. And then this one it's Long Bottom.
Farewell. Good luck on your search for the Fae.
Thank you.
What did he say?
They told us good luck.
I love Gary.
Thank you. I love
Bye,
the giant
Peewinkle.
snails.
Bye, Longbottom. Bye, Gary.
All right. So you say your goodbyes to the giant snails, though they're only really able to speak with Draven, and continue on your way, heading north, further into the Whisperweald. Particularly, this section of the Whisperweald is the Fungal Grove. And as you continue, whoever has the highest can make a survival roll for me.
Ain't me.
+3. Anyone got any better?
No. You're the most competent person here, honestly.
Am I though?
In this particular situation.
He's not surviving.
Yeah, when it comes down to rolls that I'm proficient in, don't count on me rolling high.
Unless if it's stuff,
Oh.
because that way you could brute force it. Or at
Oh, I
least
didn't
sometimes.
see that.
All right. A 6, huh? Okay. So, as you travel for this day through the Fungal Grove, you find yourselves questioning if you have passed that mushroom before.
Oh.
That's the last time I take directions from a giant snail.
Now, Draven, you're fairly certain that you headed due north and never changed your path. But somehow, as you wander, you feel sort of this slow dawning that you feel as though you may be hopelessly lost.
I do not relay that to the party.
Damn.
Thanks.
Listen, we just need to keep going.
I'm really happy we have a good track on our party.
Yeah, I trust you, Draven.
Your trust is placed well.
We would like never say this in like any other situation. It's like not
Yeah,
something
right?
we would say.
You only say it at the smart ass moment.
All right. Then you continue to wander your way through this forest. Draven, you just sort of get the ever-sinking feeling that you aren't actually making any progress. And
Oh shit.
That must.
as you wander your way along, you can actually sort of see throughout the rest of the day, as you make your way through the Fungal Grove, you see drifting sort of along the wind and sort of hovering in the air, these spores from the mushrooms, almost like snowflakes fluttering along, and they coat part of the grass and spongy mushroom below you too. And eventually, as you travel, the sun begins to set once more.
Seems it was a bit further than anticipated.
No kidding.
And so, night begins to set on the Fungal Grove.
Well, I guess we'll just set up camp here. I heard a slight whisper of mushroom. Very, very quiet. Barely hearable, but I heard it.
So as night falls, Martos, you climb your way up onto this large mushroom. Setting up tents.
Yeah.
Let's also go up to Draymore sitting at tent. Draven, I think Martos might have eaten one of these mushrooms. She's been kind of loopy lately.
If you catch her eating something she shouldn't, just tell her to spit it out. And she won't. Just pry your hands in her mouth and get it out.
Well, I feel like even if you did tell us, she probably wouldn't. But I'm sure it's fine.
If it becomes a problem, I'll help you deal with it.
All right, very well then.
Oh, hey, what's the lookout order for tonight? Martos, are you doing the first lookout again today?
Already perched on my mushroom. I can. But just know, can you hand me a rock or something? I'm gonna throw it at you. I'm not gonna come down from this mushroom.
Okay.
I mean, or a
So
long
you want
stick.
a rock?
Do
You want a
what,
rock?
What do you want to get hit with?
Oh, you're gonna hit me?
Who? Well, who am I waking up? I'm just assuming it's you. Who am I waking up?
You waking
wants
me
to
up?
get hit?
Not with a stick.
No, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
wants to go second
Yeah.
and watch now.
You
Here,
guys got a long stick or
Martos,
something?
Martos, just take this mushroom.
Is it a long mushroom? I'll take the mushroom. Thank
Mushroom's
you.
pretty soft.
Okay. Will it wake y'all up? I'm gonna angle myself right here so I can just shoot it in. Or unless maybe I can shoot it over here.
Oh, how about this? How about you take the last watch then?
My mushroom.
Well, you can stay on your mushroom and sleep.
Okay, cool. Okay. I have this mushroom though, just this little mushroom. I'm ready.
All right, I guess I'll take the first watch.
All right.
Okay.
Good
Good
night.
luck.
Who's taking second?
Let me know if little demons come.
I'll take second.
Alrighty then.
I'll take third.
Just yell at Martos when you're ready, I guess.
So
Alrighty.
just lean up against this tree.
So do not spend ages doing long rests as you travel. I'm just going to kind of do them all together. We won't do individual watches unless you have something specific you want to do or discuss. But tonight's watch is slightly less peaceful. This time, in addition to hearing noises all around you, as well as the occasional sort of long, droning whale call from the giant snails in the distance to the south, you also hear sort of the rustling of foliage around you from time to time. Each of you can make a perception roll for me, if you want.
Right?
Nice.
All right. So the night passes like that, just sort of hearing these noises occasionally. But when you spin your head wits to look for them, you don't see anything. And so each of your watches pass by rather uneventfully. But as it rolls back around to morning, wits, during your watch, you could have sworn you heard something giggle off in the bushes.
Oh. Wits had their first watch.
And when you look around to sort of see what it might have caused it, you don't actually see anything. The giggle was sort of high-pitched and childlike.
Yeah, so it's like morning now.
Let me make... Oh, actually, I already did them. I'm way ahead of myself. At 12, huh? All right. So slowly but surely rolls around to the early light of morning, with each of you taking watch. Who had the last watch again?
Artist.
Martos.
Good morning.
All right, Martos, slowly over the course of your watch, from the moment you sort of wake up to start it, and then as the sun begins to rise, you just start to feel a little bit strange. First, as you sort of take your watch, you're not really able to describe the feeling. It's a little bit odd. And eventually, as dawn breaks, the rest of you begin to rise as well.
I think I licked too many mushrooms.
And as each of you begin to wake as well, you all have a strange feeling too. Though I will say each of your feelings are a little bit unique. Martos, you feel drained. You feel weaker. You feel less robust. Sybil, you feel stronger. You feel hardy and sturdy.
All right.
Draven, you feel the same but different, just ever so slightly. And Wits, you also feel a little stronger.
Wizard strong.
Go ahead.
Well, that was a good rest. Anyone
feel like I
here
could-
see
Oh, sorry.
anything weird?
Well, I'm sure we're not alone. I heard some sort of giggling in the night, but when I investigated, I couldn't find anything.
Giggling? I didn't hear any of that.
It might have been some like one of those fairies that you mentioned.
Possibly.
I haven't met any personally, but from what I've heard, they're quite a mischievous bunch.
All I know is my back fucking hurts.
Yes, well, you keep sleeping in those odd angles on mushrooms. What do you
They're
expect?
soft. They're soft and they're squishy and they taste nice. And I just
Nothing
I'm
is soft
not
enough to
They-
turn a like
They
brown
taste nice.
surface into a bed.
Interesting.
Yes, you need a firm bed that supports your spine.
It that supported my spine. You got a little ankle going. Got a little pop and crackle when I walk.
Popping.
Is no one
Popping
else
crack-
tired?
I feel like I can run a marathon. I don't know about you.
Did you
Are
smoke
marathons
crack?
invented yet?
They have to be.
I don't know
That
what crack
Greek
is.
dude.
It's a
Marathons are
Carcassonne kind
technically
of thing.
very old, so I feel like it would exist unless if Jade said no.
It's a Carcassonne thing. If you're not from there, you wouldn't get it.
No, I don't know about you, Martos, but I feel great.
Yup. I no more sleeping on mushrooms, guys. Don't sleep on mushrooms. I think that's what's going on right now.
I'm glad
Maybe
you
it's
come
that
back
only
to
one of us are sleeping on mushrooms. And probably
should
eating
try
them.
You know what? Maybe it's the red mushrooms. I'll try the other mushroom next time.
You've been eating the red mushrooms.
I've been licking them. There's a difference.
You're not supposed to lick bright colored things, Martos.
Sybil,
It looks. It's like
I
a
think-
tomato.
I think she's high.
I'm not sure if that would be the first time or not. Actually,
I think
was
she's
about
high
to-
on shrooms. I had this conversation with Draven yesterday.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess just watch out in case she throws up on something. Or hallucinates.
Good to know. Fun. Okay.
Martos, if the forest looks like it's breathing, just let us know.
Let's be clear. I've only thrown up on shrooms one time.
Martos, if the mushrooms get up and start moving, make sure you let us know.
It's okay. Usually, as long as I don't stare at a pattern too long, I'll be okay. If you see me staring at the floor, get me out of it. I'm stuck and I need help.
Understood.
It's like those like
Okay.
bugs that you draw a circle around and they can't leave.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens.
All right.
They're just like, shit, I'm stuck.
So as you pack your things up and begin to travel further along into the Fungal Grove, each of you can make an Arcana check to try to determine what exactly is going on
shit.
with your body.
Cool.
Hit it with that. Oh, wow.
Huh.
Come on, wizard. Fuck.
Wow, wizard. Fuck.
What the fuck is magic?
Luckily, the DC was not all that high, so Sybil and Martos,
Lord. Oh, thank God.
you guys figured this out.
Martos
Sybil
don't know
just
magic.
barely.
How lucky.
So this will be a little bit fourth wall break, but I have no other way of explaining it. For the rest of the day, each of you have had your health pools swapped.
Oh.
Do I have
Oh wait,
Martos
wait. What am I
help?
saying? This is like this is an
Fucking
absolute win for me.
explains it.
Martos, you now have Witz's health.
Oh God, what the fuck was it? What was it? What?
20.
Oh,
Nice.
I see this as an absolute win.
no wonder why I
Witz,
feel so fucking tired.
Witz, you have Draven's health.
I see this as an absolute win.
Cool.
Draven, you have Sybil's health.
That would be 24.
And Sybil, you
Sorry.
have Martos's health.
That's 32.
What's
Wait, I
what's
thought I
your
felt
Draven?
stronger.
Draven, I said you felt the same but a bit different. Yours was a bit hard to pinpoint
Oh, gotcha.
Draven, how much health do you have?
since you weren't as drastic of a change.
31. Nice.
Yeah, strong wizard.
All right. So just make notes of that and keep that in mind.
Is yours is 24, Sybil?
That's 24.
Okay, gotcha.
Have fun with that 20 health, Martos.
Is no one else feeling tired?
Alright, I'll be honest, I kind of feel shitty.
What do you mean? I feel great.
Martos?
So me and Martos have basically figured out that the fairies have screwed with us, but the others haven't.
Yeah, this appears to be
Okay.
something that was done to you. This is not natural.
I'm a
You
pinch
feel
Sybil.
sort of under the effects of some sort of
Let me pinch.
spell.
Pinch.
That seems like kind of bullshit. Okay.
How'd that feel, Sybil? Pinch, pinch.
Not very painful. Can you stop though?
Pinch me.
Okay. I'll pinch you.
Did you meant to do it hard?
I didn't do it that hard. I think you need to sit down for a bit, maybe.
Pinch, pinch.
Oh, stop, please.
You're not in pain.
It's
Pinch.
annoying.
Pinch.
Stop it.
How did that feel?
That was a very monotone stop it.
Pinch.
I didn't
was
feel
that?
a thing.
Are you fucking serious? Pinch. Pinch myself. Ah.
Oh god.
Yes. Yes. My body does not feel the same. I don't like this place no more. I'm gonna go
Sorry,
look another room.
I just love the voice where just stop it.
Stop.
It was so
Pin.
monotone.
Stop it.
Yeah, Witz fucking stabs himself. I don't feel a thing.
Pinch.
Stop pinching me.
Why doesn't it hurt you? Pinch myself. Pinch. It hurts me.
Maybe
Alright.
it would stop hurting if you didn't pinch yourself. Sorry.
No, it's fine. You continue to make your way through the Fungal Grove, feeling a little bit odd, but still intent on making your way north. So just make another survival roll. You spent.
Okay, dude. Okay, dude.
Hey.
The die
Oh,
sat on
nice.
18 for like a few seconds, and then it just rolled over.
Hey, on the bright side, that was better than the last roll.
Marginally.
Hey,
So-
improvement is improvement.
So that's your second roll. I'll make a note of that.
Dude, my rolls on Draven are so cursed. At least like my skill checks.
Alrighty. Then, as you wander your way through the forest again today, you begin to get sort of a sinking feeling that you might not have any idea where you're going. And as you sort of find yourselves wandering, the rest of you too, with Martos and Civil, today you guys start to get a bit of a feeling like you might be lost as well.
I think we've seen that mushroom before.
I think we've seen all these mushrooms before.
Hey, excellent, really good survival guide, Draven. Do you know
Hold
where
on
we're
now.
going?
Excellent, really good survival guide. You know I've literally never been here before, right?
Yeah, he does have a point.
Because if you didn't know, you do now.
Mm.
I'm literally following the directions of a talking snail. I'm doing
Draven-
my best.
I mean, he
Draven-
was quite a polite snail.
As you sort of are walking and attempting to sort of discern why it is that you can't exactly figure it out, you realize that every once in a while you'll sort of glance back up for the direction of the sun to orient yourself, and it'll be in an entirely different position than you expected.
Hmm. Listen, I don't think it's the direction we're walking that's wrong. I think it's this place. Something is altering our path.
We really need to find one of those fays.
Well, apparently they're around, but they're not very cooperative, are they?
Oi, any of you out there? I just voice crack. That's so bad.
Oh.
And so you continue to walk throughout this day, passing noon, heading into the afternoon, with the slowly sinking feeling that may be difficult to navigate this terrain.
This shit just don't make sense.
Just hold on for a sec.
Oh, good.
Roll initiative.
Let's go.
Martos, as you sort of lead the way, navigating through these mushrooms and trees, with very little success, You see, for a moment, what looks like a mound of mushrooms. Small ones, large ones, on the ground sort of directly in front of you. Though it's not exactly an uncommon sight in a forest like this. What does catch you by surprise
Oh shit.
is is when it begins to pull itself up from the earth.
Cool.
Walk away. Start
It's
backing
Steve.
up. Start
Hello,
backing
Steve.
up. Fuck Steve. Start backing up now.
Don't be so mean to Steve before you've met him. Jeez.
Fuck Steve. I'm judging Steve.
Oh wait, the music changed. Never mind. Fuck Steve.
Fuck Steve.
Don't you want to lie down on that one?
I don't feel good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
fuck
actually,
Steve.
fuck
Yeah.
Steve.
And so this twisted mass of roots, stalks, caps, and flesh pulls itself up from the ground rather quickly, almost bursting out from the earth below. And as it does, Martos, as you're sort of walking forward, it lunges right at you.
Oh great.
Fuck you, Steve.
Roll initiative.
You know, looking back at it now, I could feel the grin you made when I said roll initiative as a joke.
Maybe.
I swear the last like 10 combat engagements we did, I've had a high initiative roll.
I'm struggling. Click.
Hey,
Woo!
Let's go.
dodge that bitch.
Fuck you,
Alright.
Steve.
Find out which one D&D Beyond likes more now.
Oh.
Was this the order that it puts you to in? Alrighty. So let me roll for the enemy. Alrighty. Does everybody have their altered health?
Yep.
Everybody knows what it is?
Yep.
Okay, I need you to
Yeah.
just read them off one for one in the order that I asked so that I can enter them in. Martos, what's your new health?
20.
Gotcha.
Fuck.
Wits, what's your new health?
31.
Fuck you.
Strong wizard.
Sybil, what's your new health?
32.
And Draven, what's your new health?
24.
Alrighty. Perfect. Thank you.
You could
about
have
to
literally
have a
given me
horrible time.
any person's HP and I would have gotten a win out of it.
Yep. Alrighty. That should probably be good. Let's use this one.
Oh, fear
Right.
and blood. That's
Right.
pleasant.
Great.
Shit, you just threw a Doom soundtrack at us. That's what it feels like, at least. It sounds like it'd be in Doom.
I forget what this is. What is it? Darkest Dungeon?
I mean, the name definitely sounds like it'd be a Doom song.
It's fear and blood, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely the Fungal Grove.
Wow. Okay.
Alright. Let's get started. So first things first. The Fungal Bear charges at Martos.
Fungal Bear.
And as it does, a maw that wasn't there just sort of opens up on the front of it. Attempts to take a bite out of you.
Nom.
Right, I love that. I love that.
Nom.
Yum yum.
Yum yum.
So yummy.
Alright, with that modifier, that's going to hit.
Motherfucker.
Now you're gonna feel my pain.
I'm gonna eat him back.
Alright, so that hits you for 6 piercing.
This has never been a problem before. And now I'm scared.
Yeah, now you know my pain.
This is
I
horrible.
can't.
Hey,
I can't take any hits without being concerned about my
I am
overall
a
health.
melee. I am a melee fighter.
A melee.
I'm a melee.
Hey, you know how to throw stuff, right?
Every time I've ever thrown things, it has fucking missed.
You know, that is a good point.
Let's go. We're just gonna beat the shit out of it. It'll be fine.
Alright. And then, as a part of its multi-attack, it is going to release a cloud of spores around it.
Touche. Good sir.
Within sort of this area here. So Martos, make a con save for me.
Not bad, not bad.
Alright.
Not too bad.
You breathe in the spores and they sort of make you cough and choke, but you manage to clear them before they can get down into your lungs. And so they don't take effect, and therefore you don't know what they do.
Fuck you, Steve.
We just unofficially named him Steve.
And
I
that'll
love
be
it.
the end of the Fungal Bear's turn, which will bring us to Martos' turn.
Sorry.
Yeah, so Martos, you just haven't had a chunk taken out of you by the Fungal Bear. What would you
Yeah.
like to do in return?
Mighty Orc Screech. Rage has activated.
Anger mode.
Anger mode.
Full rage or just...
Just right. We're not doing frenzy. Fuck, that was
Gotcha.
a horrible idea on my part. Click. Please hit. Whew.
Ooh, nice, nice.
Alright. Bring your great axe down onto it and sink it into the twisted mass of vegetation. Roll your damage.
Nice.
Nice damage.
Fuck you.
Get
I
him!
felt great. I felt great.
Bring your axe down and cleave off a large chunk of twisted stalk and root, which falls to
Mighty.
the forest floor. Anything else?
I give another Mighty Orc Screech. That is
Rar.
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 Very well. Then if that's the end of your turn, Martos, then it's now Witz's turn. Turns out it liked Martos better, Witz.
Okay.
I think it's just
Alright.
alphabetical.
Alright, well, Witz is going to enjoy this. He's feeling really good. He's going to sprint on up, and while he's sprinting up, he will bonus action to reach into his coat and pull out a Shadow Blade. He's going to run up and swipe right at this guy.
Alright, go for it.
Hang on, I think I have to roll the... Oh, hang on. I have to roll like it's a dagger. It's the same, I think. So I'm just going to roll a dagger. Fuck. Yeah, 8 ain't hitting.
In your hurry to sprint up to the creature, in your filled with a new vigor, you stumble slightly on some roots and don't manage to get your shadow blade to land.
Just imagine he just leaps and just face plants into the ground, trying to do like a lunging stab.
Not quite that bad, but you
Keep your
still don't
wits
manage to
good.
cause it any damage.
He just tried to be too cool. All right, well that's it for his turn then.
Very well.
Oh, great.
Draven, you hear rustling from behind you as what you thought was a regular mushroom pulls itself up from the ground, now forming legs and pincers out of parts of its stalk. And a small little myconid crab makes its way over to you, attempting to bite you with its pincers.
It's adorable.
But it finds a particularly tough part of your shin armor and does not manage to land a hit.
There, little buddy.
You tried your best.
They're crabs, I promise. Not spiders, not spiders.
Crab's technically in one of the same families as spiders.
I'm not unoriginal, I promise. They're crabs this time.
They just look an awful lot like spiders.
Also, hey, Wits, listen. The way the 5e is balanced, single monsters sometimes have a little bit of a hard time.
I like literally when I saw this one guy pop up, I'm like, there's got to be more. This can't be it.
Sybil, it's now your turn.
I am powerful, and I am going to hit him with a stick.
Very well.
Yeah.
You land your hit.
Oh, that's good
Fuck
for me.
yeah!
Good rolls all around.
So you'll either get a nat 1 on your damage or a nat 10. Or yeah.
All
Damn,
right.
Jay, I didn't know you added you switched out the rolls too for damage. Too, because I swear she would only get a 1 on those damage rolls.
I know, right? Oh, I never get anything on Shillelagh.
I sent a sternly worded email to Roll20 to make them buff your rolls.
They promised they put a few more nat 10s in the mix.
All right. So anything else, Sybil, or is that the end of your turn?
I think that's it for now.
Alrighty.
Oh, hello, friend.
Oh.
Another small myconid crab pulls itself from the earth and scuttles its way towards you, Wits, attempting to bite at the back of your calf. You're what, 12?
Yeah.
Alright, then that's a hit.
Damn. I got Draven Self, but not as AC.
Not bad roll, little buddy. That'll be 6 piercing.
Damn. That was rude.
Man, it's just to sink his little pincers in quite deep as you feel a sharp pain on the back of your leg suddenly.
I'll deal with you later.
Draven, it's now your turn.
Sorry, little buddy. I'm gonna jab at the crab
Go for it.
with my rapier.
Alright, you hit.
Alright, I'll also use a favored foe to mark him. So extra 1d4. 10.
And you also got Sybil's nat 1s.
It's a d4. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'll send the swarm of bats to kind of surround him and pick at him.
Very well. Alrighty.
And that'll be my turn.
Well, I forget what icon we were using for your favorite foe. You can just set one on there, whatever you want.
I'll just put a concentration marker on me because that's, I mean, I have to concentrate, so.
Gotcha. I'll use this one for him.
That'll work.
Alrighty. So you managed to land your hit, and your bats follow up for another strike as they nibble away at the myconid crab. Which now looks decently wounded. You've carved some chunks off of it, and it's now sort of lopsided. Then if that is all...
Yep.
And we roll back around to the Fungal Bear.
Come at me.
Alright. So first things first. The Fungal Bear sends out more spores. And so Wits, Martos, and Sybil, can you all make wisdom saves for me? The spores
Oh
that
boy.
the spores that it sends out have sort of a
Oh, fuck.
pinkish sparkle to them, which is a little bit different than the ones you saw earlier, Martos. Those ones were yellow. These ones are
Darius
pink.
gave us Martos' wisdom.
Fuck, we're all high now.
All right. So as the spores surround you, you begin to sort of cough and choke, and you feel almost like a lightheadedness appear and slowly kind of fade in. And then the lightheadedness turns into a throbbing headache. It sort of fills your mind and breaks any sort of focus you once had. And so each of you... Martos, you saved. So Sybil and Wits. The two of you both take 5 psychic damage.
Oh, dang, okay.
Shit, now I'm already back in my original health.
And then the myconid bear will, of course, multi-attack and is going to take a bite out of Sybil.
Cool. By the way,
Uh,
Jay,
Yep.
how do reactions work exactly?
You react to something. It depends on what you're trying to react with.
Okay, I've recently got my hands on Hellish Rebuke, and I've been really looking for a situation in which to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So
is this a
basically,
situation in which I can use it?
yeah. So basically, reactions occur sort of when it's not your turn, and you get one of them in between each of your turns, if that makes sense. It's sort of like it's almost like an action that you can take only when it's not your turn, usually. And
Okay.
so it's now in between your turns, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I believe the Hellish Rebuke trigger is that you take damage, right?
Yep.
Which you did. And so you could trigger
oh.
Hellish Rebuke if you
Oh.
should choose to.
Alright.
What's the save on that? Is it Dex?
It's okay. It says Dex 9 for hit / DC.
Take a...
9. What's it
Shouldn't-
based off of?
Shouldn't be 9.
I don't know. It just
Let me take a little peek at your character sheet for a sec.
Maybe off
that's
her
what it says in that
charisma?
column.
It's a
Oh,
12,
that
I
is my
believe.
charisma.
Oh yeah, that's 9. That's rough.
Yup.
Very well. Then I'll make a dex roll for it.
He's a big boy. Surely he's not that dexterous.
I don't
Holy
know.
is
He
what
seemed to
I'm
run
not
up pretty
yet.
quick.
Sure.
It it fails the same.
Nice.
Freaking nice.
So roll your
Oh,
damage.
Poggers.
It's mushroom time.
Kill, 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 kill.
That's 3d10. You are
Oh.
kidding. You are okay. God, why?
I mean,
Hey,
It's
it's 10 damage. That's not bad.
Yeah.
True, true.
When you
Yeah, I
take
was
it,
hoping for a bit more. It works.
if you take it in comparison to what you could have been, then it seems low. But 10 is still nothing to sneeze at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could have been 3.
Oh, anyway, how much damage did I take from him taking a bite out of me? Did he even like succeed at that? Sorry.
I was sort of pausing before it did that,
okay.
because you took the damage off the psychic damage, so I was gonna do it there.
Okay.
And then it's still gonna take a bite out of you after this.
Good to know.
But as you sort of cough and choke on these spores and feel that throbbing headache, you retaliate with a hellish rebuke and see these flames burst across the front of the myconid bear, which sort of roars and writhes in pain. And then it's gonna try to bite you because of that.
Cool.
And it does indeed hit.
God, Draven's is having fun with that other one over there while we're here.
Okay.
That's messy.
The myconid deals 7 piercing.
Okay.
I would have joined you, but before I got a chance to move, he crept up on me.
He just wants to be your friend. I mean, look at that cute little guy. Look at him, he's smiling.
So Martos, it's now your turn.
Mighty orc screech.
Rar. Rar.
Arr!
All right, I think that's the winning strategy because you hit. That really is the winning.
that is winning strategy.
Damn. Very high damage.
Good job.
I'm just amazed right now. I'm having a good roll day.
The pressure from the different health is
And the wizard
got you in
health.
full focus mode.
Kicking in.
All right, then you heft your axe and cleave it again, carving off another large chunk from the front of this creature as it roars at you. Is there anything else you want to do, Martos?
Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, I'm ready now. Dancing around it. Now I'm good.
Alrighty. Then Witch, it's your turn. Hello?
Hello?
It's your turn, Witz.
Oh. Okay. Which will uses interaction to pull out his other dagger. so that he has the Shadow Blade in one hand and a regular dagger in the other.
Very well.
And then he will use the Shadow Blade to attack Steve.
Okay.
My fucking god!
Isn't that the same roll too?
It is! Alright, then he'll use the dagger in his other hand to also attack Steve. 12, probably not gonna hit.
And 12 unfortunately does not hit.
Oh.
You find a tough part of the roots and aren't able to sink your daggers into it. It's almost more insulting when it's the same roll than it would be if it was like a lower roll.
Which is gonna sit here twiddling his thumbs then, I guess.
That's a rough turn.
Oh,
Feels
both
bad,
turns have been a rough turn. Just go on to Draven's turn.
Got too confident in your health.
You know what? If I had my regular health, I'd be on the verge of death, so I'm not complaining.
Well, if you had your regular health, you might not be standing right in front of the giant thingy.
Hey, you never know. Which might have been feeling good anyway. Maybe he
Alrighty.
wanted to get a closer look at Steve.
The crab's gonna take another bite at you, Draven.
Alright.
And this time he's gonna hit. Oh, okay, yeah. So that is 4 piercing. And you drop favored.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Damage taken.
Right. Finds a little weak spot in your armor and bites on through it. Feel a sharp pain in your leg. And that'll be the end of its turn. Sybil. Is Sybil back? I know she said she was BRB.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I'm back. I was muted.
Perfect. It's your turn.
All right. Then gonna go for Shillelagh again.
Very well.
God damn it.
That'll be a miss.
Yeah. Yeah. There's my rolls again.
Is there anything else you want to do?
How are you guys all doing right now? Martos?
Sad. Just sad.
Yeah, okay.
No, I'm alright.
Martos, how'd you say you were doing again?
I am mighty Lord Screech.
Okay, good to know. Then, I guess my turn's over. Sadly. Can't think of anything else to do right now.
Very well. The other Mike and Egg Crab will attempt to take another chunk out of you, Wits.
Go for it. I like that.
With a 16, that'll hit you.
15, it'll hit you.
Hey, don't make fun of me. I'm talking to myself.
Hey, you mock him, it'll crit you now.
Yeah. Actually, wow, I read the dice wrong. That was a crit. Weird.
I was trying to make fun of the crab and I'm just having a sad time, alright?
Take it out on the dice.
I'm just throwing my actual dice, even though they have nothing to do with your dice.
All right. So that is 4 piercing damage as the crab sinks its fangs into you once more. Scuttles
said?
about behind you. 4, yeah.
Okay.
Another 4.
Well, I am now bloody.
Alrighty. That's the end of its turn. So Draven, it's your turn.
Going for a stab on the crab.
Nice tab.
7.
Alrighty.
Still alive.
No, he is not.
He is unalive.
You sink your rapier into the Myconid crab, which twitches slightly and then lies motionless.
No, I'm sorry, little buddy. What needs stabbed next?
Mighty orc screech.
This guy over here can use some stabbing.
Alright. And I'll move there. And that is... do I want to cast a spell? No, that's my turn.
Very well. And we return to the Fungal Bear's turn. Yeah, that's my picture too. So
Wait, what? Why? Why are you guys mentally imagining that?
it's just how it is. It's just the vibe you give off.
That's
He
just what
just
happens.
runs with his arms behind his back.
That's just
like
how it
the
is when you have a
sword
sword.
trailing.
You're all on the party with the sword. That's just how it is.
Alright, first things first, Mr. Bear. This time it is going to be pink spores again. So wisdom saves all around except for Draven.
Right.
Nice.
Listen
Alright.
here, Dice.
Alright,
We've been
with
having a rough few minutes, but I believe in you. Yes.
Good.
saves all around.
I just needed a moment.
This time when the spores appear, you all have the good sense to keep your mouth shut. I'm mostly kidding. And the spores are not able to take effect on you this turn. You don't feel that same headache return. And then the bear is going to swipe its paw at you. Let's.
Fuck you, Steve.
Well, that's gonna hit.
Fuck you, Steve. Hey, Sybil, you know those cool little wacky berries you got there?
I can do better than saying that's gonna make you drunk in the middle of a fight.
No, I don't want it. No kidding. Please help me.
So it raises
Be
up
right
one of
over.
its massive club-like trunk paws and slams it into your wits, and will deal 7 bludgeoning.
Yeah, Sybil, you wanna help me out there? You wanna
Yup.
give me a little bit of the spicy health?
I'm getting there.
And then it's going to use that club that it just took to you to also push you 5 feet.
You know what? I'm actually very happy with that outcome.
And then it's going to step forward.
Okay, I'm less happy with that outcome.
Who thought?
And that'll be the end of its turn, so it's Martos' turn.
Oh, see, I had a feeling. Had a feeling.
I've got a feeling.
As the bear surges forward to chase after Wits, you attempt to swing your great axe at it, but you only meet dirt where it was before.
Fuck Steve. Alright. Back in that.
Alright, move yourself back into position, and now the initiative passes to Wits.
Oh yeah, Sybil, you're gonna use some healing spells on me whenever you get the chance, right?
Yup, I'm getting to it.
All right, cool. Shadow Blade on the big mean Steve, man.
Okay.
If this rolls an 8, I will leave this Discord call. And it's not an 8.
Not Nate.
That was close.
Somewhere a monkey's paw curled.
No,
Perfect.
Witz just gets the intercept. He's out of the campaign if you're running right there. Alright, well, I guess I'll just use his other hand to use the other dagger.
If you rolled an ace, just Wits jumps into the creature's mouth.
Alright, well, at least that dagger hits.
Alright, that one hits. Roll your damage.
Alright. Gotta do a 1d4. 2. Give me 2 damage.
Still,
5 attacks!
Still
And
damage.
2 damage!
Alright,
Oh!
Wits takes like a carrot peeler to one of the legs of the creature.
Just pew that wee bit off.
Alright, damage is damage though, and it will take that 2 piercing.
I hope I
Anything
didn't
else?
wake up my roommate by screaming like that.
Is there anything else, Wits? Probably not.
No, I'm just gonna twiddle my thumbs again.
Gotcha. Alright, then that passes us along to Sybil. His friend over
Alright.
here is dead.
Okay, you can move 30 feet, one thing, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30. And here is your freaking cure wounds. Oh my god, you're freaking kidding me.
It's the first one, don't forget. You rolled it
Yeah,
twice.
sorry, my mouse is destroyed.
Okay, yeah, you don't want that second one.
Yep. God damn it.
Alright, so 7.
Yeah, first one.
7?
7.
Okay.
Wits, you feel the pain of some of your wounds begin to fade.
Well, I've received more health than I've done damage so far. Good times. Good times.
As for bonus actions, I can heal you again, or I have more. If anybody else is currently in a bad place. Martos, Draven.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, cool.
I can hang on.
Alright. Nice. Then I can't do anything else. Let's move on to the next turn, I guess.
Wait, I just forgot something, Jay.
Okay.
I was supposed to be rolling con saves for every time I took damage to see if I lose concentration. I forgot that I had that on.
Good point. I forgot about it too, so fuck it. You get away with it.
Okay. Next time. Which
Next
there will
time,
be a next time.
Yeah, just try and remember, and then add that little thing when you cast stuff, just to help you remember too.
Okay. Yeah, I usually forget with Shadow Blade just because it's a
Yeah.
steppy thing.
Yeah, it's a one that I forget too, so no worries. I get you. But yeah, the brain will help you remember.
The big brain.
Will help me remember too. Yeah, so next time. All right, so that's all.
Yeah.
Very well.
That's all.
Then Myconid Crab is, I think, liking how soft this target is.
Yeah,
It's
go
going
ahead.
to,
Just tell me damage.
Keep biting. That one actually missed.
Oh, well, lovely.
That was a 10. Alright. Yeah, I don't think it has any reason to move, so... Draven, your turn.
I'll stab on the little crab. I'm trying to finish this one off quickly as well, so I'll mark him with favored foe.
Very well.
So, 11,
Alrighty.
12, 15.
Alright, you follow up with quick strikes, and your bats follow suit, carving off chunks from this creature as well. Now it also looks rather torn up from your attacks.
Excellent. And that'll be my turn.
Very well. Rubs hands together. Alrighty. Rolling back around to the Myconid Bear. I think pink spores for dinner again sounds good. So
Nice.
that's going to be wisdom saves all around this time, Draven included.
I'm going to cry. I'm just going to cry. Here, let me roll that con save for you too.
Oh.
Alrighty. So, now we finally learn exactly what these pink spores are doing. Wits and Draven don't bother with the con saves because the pink spores remove it automatically, as the headache shatters your concentration. Alright. Okay, so simple saved.
Ace, that's good to know.
And then Martos, you will take a neat 7 psychic.
Yes. I am bloody. Yes.
Wits and Draven, you guys were concentrating, so the concentration takes one of the dice away. So that'll be 4 psychic and 4 psychic for you two.
Right, damage taken.
Every boss.
So you took a little bit less damage, but your concentration was shattered.
Yeah. What a great use of a second level spell slot on my part.
Sometimes it be like that.
Guess I'll go back to wizard mode.
Sigh.
Cries.
Alright. And then I think it likes the idea of a new target. It's gonna take a bite out of Draven if it can.
Sorry, Draven, but I like that idea too.
New friend. And that's gonna be a 22.
Oh shit.
Oof, and that was a hefty dice roll. So it's gonna be a 10 piercing.
Alright, damage taken.
That'll be the end of its turn. So now it's Martos' turn.
Oh. Mighty orc scream. Hmm.
The 14 will hit.
Mighty orc scream.
Just imagine you getting louder every time you say that. Just because it's just cascading with every roll.
You carve away more chunks of mushroom and root as you bring your axe down on top of the Myconid bear. Is there anything else you want to do, Martos?
Okay.
Very well.
I'm satisfied.
Alright. Martos, you are feeling a little wounded.
I'm a little fucked up.
Moving on to the next person's turn, also feeling a little bit wounded, is Wits. It's your turn.
Size. Disengage.
Very well.
End turn.
How much HP do you have?
12.
Just OOC curious. 12? Okay.
I'll come back later if I need to, but I guess I'll go back to being a wizard again. I just wanted to be Marcel for one combat. No. RNG just had to say no on all of my rolls except for one.
Alright, Jesus put a stop to that plan, unfortunately. That would have been
He
fun.
said, he's saying, he said, no, you are a wizard, nothing else.
I punished you for your hubris.
Then I'm assuming you're ending your turn there, Wits.
Yeah.
Alright, skipping past the other crab. That brings us to Sybil. Now, Sybil, your party members are looking pretty battered. Martos is bleeding out of her nose from the psychic damage, and the others have some rather large bite marks taken out of them.
Cool. Cool. I love being the only healer of the party. Let's go. Okay.
You know,
damn
Draven
it.
can self heal a bit, so if he survives this round, I would heal Martos.
Okay. Let's scoot over here. And
Oh, hello, friend.
hi.
Woo!
There you go.
Yeah, now you know how I feel.
And a d6 for wits. Nice.
Wait for me?
Bomb of the Summer Court?
Yeah, I get it as a bonus action.
Oh, okay. Probably should have gave that to Draven. Still.
And a d6 for Draven.
Damn.
Sorry.
Damn.
You want to trade? Want to trade D6s?
It's too
Nah,
late.
I'll take what I got. That's fine.
Yeah, you can still take a nibble. This guy probably don't have a lot of health. He looks pretty tasty.
Why don't you finish him? Because if I bite the big one, I can Hunter's Mark it and get more juice out of it.
Sir. Assuming you could hit anything.
I've been hitting my attacks. Speak for yourself.
No, that's what I said. I said assuming I could hit anything.
Oh, I thought you said assuming you can.
Yeah, I know. You're hitting everything. You're getting like
Alrighty.
18 plus on everything.
Heals all around from your Dream Druid. Anything else, Sybil, or is that it?
No, that's it.
Got it. And this crab is going to make another attempt to bite you, Draven. But it is unsuccessful with a 15.
Thank God.
And I don't think it has any reason to do anything else, so it will end its turn and turn the initiative over to you. Hello?
Whose turn is it?
Draven.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Then I will. Let's see. Bonus action, Hunter's Mark. On Big Boy.
Very well.
Just save that damage then. And I will go for a Fanged Bite with advantage since I am way below half health.
It's a smidge.
You gotta be fucking kidding me. I do no damage. That is my turn.
Ouch. I forget what I was using for hunters. I don't know what
You
that'll
just
do.
use the same as favorite or whatever you want, really.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we could tell the difference between the two of them. There's not one that matches it quite as well as I'd like, but I just kind of pick one that sort of is close.
Yeah.
Alrighty, then that is all, Draven.
That's all I can do.
Big boy's turn. First things first, it is going to swipe at you, Draven, with its paw. Whew. Alright, that's a hit. So that will be.
Oh, nice save, Bureau.
Well, let's see if I'm still up, if it matters.
Oh yeah, true.
That'll be 7 bludgeoning.
Yeah.
Damage taken.
And then as it has to bat you in a direction away from it, it will bat you there. And it's going to follow up with
Ominous.
a bite, and it's going to go after Miss Healer.
Fun times.
Whew. Man's on fire. It's going to be another hit. To be fair, he does have a pretty hefty modifier. But not a great roll, so that is 5 piercing.
Cool.
And that'll be the end of his turn. Spend his multi-attack on that. So, Martos is now your turn.
It's neat. Am I able to enter frenzy mode?
I don't think there's anything in the wording about not being able to shift right into it, right?
It's loose phrasing.
I know, yeah.
Like, yeah. So
I don't think there's anything that says that you can only do it when you activate a rage, so...
Frenzy mode, let's go.
Yeah, it just says while raging, so I'd say yeah, you can do it.
Alright, bet.
Alright,
While
let's-
pissed.
Let's get really, really mad then.
As my friends are almost dying, very mighty orc screech come to me.
So, big strong.
yes.
Oh,
The
Alright,
big strong.
him.
second hit lands.
Come on. Yeah, okay. We'll take it.
Carve off another large chunk of this creature. It's now sort of missing large pieces of it off its front and side.
This leg.
One of its legs is sort of got a large chunk taken out of it, and it wobbles slightly as it walks on that one.
Don't forget the tiny carrot peeled cut on its side.
Yeah, it's got a little boo-boo on its elbow too. Alright, so Martos, you cleave another portion off this creature, and is there anything else you want to do, or is that the end of your turn?
Yeah, that's it.
Very well. Then we arrive at our wizard, now feeling in a more wizardy mood.
Alright, so good thing it pushed Draven out of the way, because now I can safely cast Ice Knife.
Alright.
And I will cast it right there. And I'll use a level 1 spell slot. So... Oh my fucking god, I...
Nice. Cool.
You know what? It's fine. They still have to make... Both of these guys, they gotta make dex throws. To see if they take cold.
Alrighty, let me refresh my mind on what the modifier of these guys is.
And it's fine, because it's 2d6 damage. If they fail.
Alright. Big boy fails, and so does little boy.
Hoggers. So that is... you gotta be fucking kidding me. I swear to god, I'm going to sue D&D Beyond. So that's 5 damage for each.
Alrighty. The Myconid bear takes a bunch of shards of icicles that smash into it, shred parts of it. It's looking decently wounded now, but the icicles that are sent flying by your ice knife just completely shred this creature.
I figured as much, even if that was low. Remember, he was a little hurt. You know what? I'm actually kind of happy I'm missing now. I would have cried so much if that hit and then I had to live with one. Because I know damage is damage, but it's just not a good day for me.
All right. So if there's nothing else, Wits,
Yep, that's all.
very well. Then it's now Sybil's turn.
Okay. Is everybody good and not dying now?
Cough, Draven, cough.
I'm still dying, but just save your heals. For
Dying.
me, at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah. Okay.
Use berry.
I can offer you one more d6 without having to go over there and use my action. So.
Just keep it in case I fall over.
Okay, cool. Man, I'm gonna do that. And
All right.
please,
Crit.
damage dice, roll well.
Oh my god. Good job.
That was a pretty good roll for me. And crit, what does crit do again?
Make sure you click roll damage in roll 20.
Oh.
Like the button.
Yeah, there.
Because
Oh.
It automatically do both.
All right. You bring your magically empowered staff down on the Myconid bear's head, in air quotes, though it doesn't really have one, and just send chunks of mushroom flying across the forest floor as the creature roars in pain. Now looking significantly wounded, but still standing.
Yeah, fuck you, Steve. Okay, that's my turn.
All right, Draven, it's your turn now. You're feeling the weight of your injuries, but you're still alive.
Draven hobbles over to the rear of the creature with fangs bared and attempts to sink them in.
Go for it.
Nice. Thank God. 17.
All right.
So 7 from that.
Nice.
Hunter's Mark
Nice.
and Swarm.
All right.
So I'll heal 13 off that if I'm able.
Very well.
Damn, okay.
Is this thing like a undead or anything? I don't think it would be, right?
Not quite.
Okay.
So I'll
Pretty
send
alive to me.
Alright. Then I am healthy-ish again.
Very well.
And that'll be my turn.
Alrighty. The significantly wounded Fungal Bear, now sort of backed into a corner. Last turn was a double physical attack. Let's shake things up, shall we? Especially because now we can do more fun things.
I love fun
Oh
things.
boy.
The
Happy
fungal
over here now.
The Fungal Bear was facing you and Martos, Sybil,
Mhm.
attempting to bite you guys, and it actually turns its attention away from you and
fucking
turns
does.
itself right around, and instead focuses on this creature.
God.
Say, if you said he jumps at me.
And it, this time opening its maw, it shoots a blast of spores from its mouth. And the Myconid crab stands back up again. As you see mushrooms grow across its surface and bolster it, growing back pieces that you carved off.
Fuck Steve. All my homies hate Steve.
Alright. And then it will pink spores.
Clears concentration.
Make your wisdom saves.
Oh.
Alright, Martos fails.
Literally, fuck Steve.
Literally.
No.
Oh, literally, fuck Steve.
Steve, I'm gonna get your ass. I swear to fucking God.
Steve, you better not be related to Jellycat.
Sybil 2.
Oh, sorry, I was distracted.
Yeah, you're still in range.
Nice.
Alright, Sybil saves, the other two fail. Draven, you lose your concentration as a headache shatters your focus. But that was a very poor dice roll, so that'll be 3 psychic damage.
Taken?
And that'll be the end of its turn. So, Martos, it is now your turn. The creature has turned its attention. Creature has turned its attention away from you and left an opening, which you use to strike twice with your great axe. We're going to use the first two, as we usually do. And actually, both of them hit.
1, 2. I count that shit out.
Oh shit!
Fuck you, Steve.
Woo!
Alright, so as the Fungal Bear turns its attention to raise the other creature, you use that opening to slash away at it. Your first strike cleaves its back leg just clean off, and then your second sinks deep into its back and it lets out a long, pained roar as it collapses to the ground.
You, Steve.
Fuck you, Steve.
Woo!
You, Steve.
Woo! Okay, let's do this. Come at me, bitch. Let's go.
Alright, then if that's the end of your turn,
Sorry.
then it is Witz's turn. Yeah, it was a beefy turn, Martos.
Oh wait, what was the damage I took for the spore thing?
What was that?
I think it's a 3 psychic.
Yeah, it was just 3 psychic,
Okay.
yeah.
I totally forgot. I was too busy raging. Okay,
Alright,
yeah, I'm good.
so Witch will enter his own tiny little miniature rage, and he will run up with both his dagger.
Alright, go for it.
Okay, so he will swipe once. If it's an 8, I'll cry. Yeah, it's 2 8s.
They combined with their power combined.
4.
Alright, you carve away a large chunk of the creature.
Then he
Which is
will-
still sort of on its way getting up, and you're making another strike, right?
Yep.
Go for it.
Yeah!
Alright, roll your damage.
Alright, so that should be a 2d4, right?
Yeah.
Yes. 4!
Alright. Your second strike just goes right through one of its eyes. And it just sort of wriggles for a second on the end of your dagger and then collapses to the ground.
Yeah, let me check to see my roommate's asleep so I can yell.
Mighty orc strength.
Damn it, he's asleep. I was gonna scream.
Alrighty.
That was fucking horrible, guys.
Still
Yeah,
think
let
it's
me
a friendly
count.
forest?
I'm gonna count how many times I missed that time. 1. 2, 3,
Alright.
4, 5. I'm gonna cry.
So, as the creatures fall to the forest floor and silence rings out, you take a moment to catch your breath and nurse your wounds. I think that's where we'll end the session for today, since we're already at 3 hours.
Thank Lord, I gotta pee.
Cool.
And we will pick up again
Cool.
at the end of this fight when we return. All right,
hell was that?
it's the bear. I sent another one after him. All
Yeah,
right.
that was a fun fight, but boy, do I not like having druid health.
I love having ranger health though.
Just
I'm
think
happy
of
with
it as a lesson in empathy.
Sure.
Man,
It didn't matter for me.
I love fey tricks.
Can the next one make Martos short? Like no other like
I'm a
physical
6'2"
stat change.
goddess. I
No
cannot
other
be
stat
short.
change. I just want her to be 4 feet tall.
I'm
I think I'd rather Draven be 4 feet tall. That'd be pretty funny.
That would be nice.
No, you know the wide Putin meme? I want to see that as Martos.
Damn.
Just short and wide and just playing that song as she walks.
I really like the ambiance for the Whisper Wheel. It's peaceful.
Mhm.
All right. So first things first. Does anything interfere with next week?
Nope, I think I'm good.
Next week, no.
All good.
I'm good.
Very well. Then we will return for another session of Whispers in the Woods next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. The next stream will be Friday, most likely. Though you never know with those guys. Probably around 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And that is the campaign Seas of Sand. They are, let me think, they are about to leave the city and venture into the rather dangerous desert beyond. They're
They're getting the seas of sand.
Yes, they're entering the Sea of
See-
Sand.
Seas of sand, but they add sand.
Dating sim is finally over. Oh man.
That's what you think. They're gonna
Don't-
date the sand.
Don't count on that.
They're gonna see
But,
like a big ass scorpion and be like, "Hey, what's up?"
They're in the sort of preparatory phase. They're figuring out what they need to bring with them, as it is a bit more of a endeavor than the average journey. The Imhara Desert is an inhospitable place, so they gotta bring some supplies with them. So that's what they were starting last session, and they'll have to finish that up this Friday. And then the other campaign that's also running on this channel right now is Silver Song on Mondays, also 7 p.m. Eastern. And they're looking around an old ruin, trying to find some Dragonborn artifacts. They got a lot of lore dropped on them last session. So
Ooh, fancy.
they're the they're the only campaign so far that's had any dragons in their Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, for us, everyone else has just been dungeons.
Funny how that works, huh?
Hey, dragons must be used sparingly so that they have impact.
That's fair. It kind of feels weird when you think about it, because it's like in the name, but you just think of it so much as a name thing that you forget that most of the time there's not dragons.
I'll be honest, I'm okay not fighting dragons. They're
Yeah, me
it's
too.
Very scary.
I just feel like just leave them be. They'll be okay.
Look, we're having trouble with fucking spiders, alright? I think I don't want to fight a dragon.
The
Yeah.
more legs, the harder it is to kill. That is what we've learned.
No, I think we've learned don't go in a cave. And we
Caves were very.
Nothing good.
cave,
in
cave,
caves.
cave equal bad and scary.
What do you mean?
I've
A
lost my
nice
face.
old man gave you several riddles.
but took my
The
face.
face collector.
That was
I
kinda
don't
weird.
want to know what he's doing.
You know,
I
that's
can come back
that's
and bite him in the ass, but until then, we're not
I don't
gonna
want
do
to say it on stream, but that's kind of sus.
that. Sus.
Yeah, I'm just imagining like
Sus.
Buffalo Bill.
He's gonna do something with my face.
He's
Yeah.
doing
The
something
Majora's
weird.
Mask.
He's doing something with those faces.
It's fine. There's nothing sinister, I'm sure. It's all good.
Literally, my view of him changed like 3 times in that short period of time that we saw him.
That was the goal, so I'm glad.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh, possible enemy? Oh, nice old man. Oh, weird old man.
when you walk in the cave, I'm basically just sitting there waiting for the moment where I can drop that he wants your face, because I knew the entire
Wow.
context of the conversation would change after that point. So I was just waiting to drop that because
You know, he's still my friend. We're still friends. We're good.
He's
he
nice.
has my face. Kind of an asshole. He didn't give me my own face, but that's okay. It's fine.
I really want to know what's gonna happen with him having your face.
We're gonna walk back in on him doing
Nothing,
some
it's
weird
fine.
shit on the way back.
Yeah.
it's fine.
Oh,
I'm
man.
just not. I'm gonna avoid that cave.
He's gonna
I haven't
have
heard
the
about
face on a
Martos.
scarecrow.
Not real.
He's gonna have the face on a scarecrow. He's gonna be dancing with it.
I would not want to fight another me. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna avoid any tales I hear about another Martos running around. Like, nope. Not my problem. That's not my child.
Just be like, oh, you must be talking about my sister. My
Alright.
twin sister.
All right then. So, nothing gets in the way. So next session will be on, and we'll pick up where we left off. Looking forward to it. If you want schedule updates, you can follow my Twitter or join the Discord. If you miss a session, you can check out the archive where I put up all the VODs. Yeah, don't forget to use your Twitch Prime. It's free if you want to. And if you haven't followed, then please do so as well, because every follow gets us closer to doing something fun at the end of the little countdown you see there. Yeah, thanks, Tasty. Yeah, so if you ever miss a session, check out the archive on YouTube. It's where I upload all the VODs so that if you miss a session, you can catch up. Or if you want to go back and watch old campaigns that have already ended, you can do so there too. There's Magic School one called Class of Crows. There's one where they wandered around the forest fighting witches. There's a one where they started in prison. There's all sorts of fun stuff. So go check that out. If you want to learn more about the world, then you can check out the World Anvil. All the campaigns I run on this channel are in a persistent living world called Grand Loyan. Therefore, actions taken in any of the campaigns can affect future ones or currently running ones. And so if you want to learn more about that world, you can take a look at the World Anvil. There's factions, deities, characters, places, all sorts of stuff there. So take a peek at that if you're interested in reading up a bit about some of the information in between, if you will. For reference, this campaign takes place in Kael Taihera, the Feylands. They're currently have just headed into the Whisperweald, and they spent the last couple sessions in Lysindriel if you want to read about that stuff. Other than that, that's all I have to say, so without further ado, I hope you all have a good night, and I will see you all later.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.